So I just got back from lunch and my friend Ned had a bag with him with some art supplies, and I was like, "What'd you get?" And then his response was, "It's for you." I was like, "Oh, cool, okay." And the next surprise was that we were going to do some painting. So during our lunchtime catch up, I painted this one and I completely just winged it. I started off with, I don't know, the green thing over there. It was meant to be like an ear, and then I put this lighter green bit around it because I wanted to mix it up. And then I was like, what have I created? And then I just resorted to making the rest of the landscape. So I know it's crap, but as Ned said, he asked me when the last time I painted was, and I could not remember. I know that it probably was in 2014 when I was in Tonga, so to actually just complete something, it makes me feel good, you know? Especially because I am a writer predominantly, and I get stuck in this one train of thought. So to have the opportunity then to branch out and work some other creative muscles, it feels pretty good, I must say. It's highlighted I think the importance of having other avenues of expression, and if I want to deepen my artistic ability, I should definitely branch out beyond words, even if I don't take those avenues as seriously as with painting. I have intentions to get back to the acoustic guitar as well, but I think this whole experience just really shook something in me that reminded me that if you want to do something and you have stories in your head about not being able to do it, like my partner, she's been suggesting that we paint for a while, and I've always been like, oh, I'm not ready, I'm not in the mood, I don't know how, this and that. But when something's put in front of you, you can just do it, and sometimes you just gotta do things. So that's actually what I'm doing right now. I walked back in and I've decided to make a video log. My relationship with videos has been on and off over the years. More recently, I have made specific scripted videos about, I did this one on journaling, did this one about 10 tips for managing depression. And it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work. It is fun to a degree, but in that process, I realized something about it, which is that it's not really what I want to create. I just don't vibe scripting things and having these points and then sitting there and spending hours editing it and trying to make things perfect and get the framing and the lighting right. To me, I would rather enjoy the process of just turning on a camera and just rolling with it. I know that I'm going to kill off, well, not really kill off, but not cater to a lot of TikTok crumpled, shortened attention spans. But if no one watches, of course, these videos are there for me. I think I want to keep a kind of memory log of myself just checking in and having the opportunity to look back on these, especially. I know I've got one video from when I was in Tonga, 3 from when I was in Nepal, and I look back at them and I'm just like, wow, I'm glad I made these. It really captures so much in the moment compared to just writing. You know, you can, because it's easy. You just turn it on and you just let consciousness flow. And to anyone who struggles with journaling or keeping a journal, just turn on your camera or turn on your phone and just talk, because that's something we all do. You may not be a writer, but you can talk. So that's what I'm doing. This video, I think, will go along with my newest blog piece, which is some thoughts on turning 34. And in that one, I just really reflected on hitting a point of stability in my life. Even despite what last year was, you could really call it a landslide, to be honest. Things are going good, and I talked about how that is a bit of an uneasy feeling. at times, especially through my 20s. There was a lot of uncertainty. I had all these doubts in myself, my own ability, and also where I was heading. And now, as I enter, I guess, my mid-30s, I can see things really starting to take form, which is a really good feeling. And like, I also talked about how my partner's grandfather recently passed as well, and we spoke about his views on life, and one thing he said was that, like, being in his 90s, that he had a good innings, and he's this character that's had a lot of really interesting stories. And I think whenever someone passes on, you kind of think, like, what is the meaning of life? What do they leave behind? And I'm really coming to sit in the knowing that I want to say that I have a whole good collection of stories, and that's something I have done by being adventurous and really stepping out. And not just having stories, but having people to tell them to, or people involved in those stories. And celebrating my birthday recently really highlighted the importance of friendship and surrounding yourself with people who nurture your growth. I think one thing lockdown did was really stripped a lot of that away from us, and it's something that we were so used to having beforehand that maybe we kind of took it for granted, and didn't realize how much we need other people and social engagement and relationships. And I think a good thing that even if you don't have it in your own immediate world, you can still connect with people online and that. But as we know through the ongoing lockdown, that people just got over that, and there's just something that you can't replace, which is just sitting in a circle on the floor, talking shit, having laughs, deep conversations. You can't really replace it. So yeah, that's where I am at with things. I'm going to try to nurture my relationships really, and not as many friendships, I think, but focusing on the ones that count. Not really rushing to hang out with everyone that I haven't seen in 2 years, because it's been so long, and I don't need to, and I don't think we need to, and we shouldn't really feel bad about that by saying, like, I just don't want to do anything today, because not doing is doing something. It's resting, it's having that time for yourself. And I think getting all that extra rest time during lockdown showed us how much we need it, and the difference it does make to your daily life, rather than running around, being burnt out continuously. And the other part I think that I'm working towards is just really, a part of coming to this age is just an understanding of self, and my understanding of personal development and stages of adult development is that inevitably is a part of life. The dead wood burns away, or this excess skins shed, however you want to put it, in a bit of a poetic way. For me, I think a lot of that has been letting go of, when I was younger, I was really into fitness, and that was so much core part of my identity, and letting that go and going, okay, that's cool and all, but like, what does it actually offer to the world? And for those who know it, there's Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and at the top is self-actualization, but you only get there after passing through all the other areas, like having a roof over your head, having social relationships, etc., etc. And I feel that's where I'm getting, where I'm like, cool, I've got a stable job, I've been doing that for almost a year now, but I need more. There's more. And I know that lies in what I'm doing with Boring to the Bridge, and also now that I've graduated from my counselling studies, using that out in the world, and in fact, I guess combining the two, which is the next step that I'm going to take, which is why I want to start making more content, because if anything, it's practice for me when I start working with people. Because there's so many, like I said in my post, there's so many avenues in life, there's so much choice, and I think that's really disorientating. But when you get to know yourself and really tune in, the choice actually becomes rather simple, because it's not a case of like what works, what doesn't per se, or what makes me the most money. It's more about like just who am I? At least that's how I feel for me. Like the traits that I exhibit, the people skills, the wanting to know people's story, the zero tolerance for corporate BS and playing those games and chasing promotions, it just doesn't appeal to me. So yeah, tuning into what's true is leading me in to where I need to go, but at the same time I need to step out of my own way, because there's that voice that says like, oh, it's an oversaturated market, you're not the best at this, there's other people, you know, that whole view of feeling of competition, which is definitely fueled by social media. But what I'm arriving at is that it's not about necessarily being the best. I don't think I'll ever be, you know, the top 20%, 10%, whatever of anything per se, but I can still be my best in the world. And that's the same philosophy I take to training. When I started working out, you know, I was like, I'm never going to be like huge or amazingly strong. Like, I clearly don't have the genetics for it, but I still pushed on because I enjoyed it and I still had the potential to be better. So that's kind of what I really need to bring home, is to just focus on being better and growing, because that will help me. I'll feel more at peace, and at least I'll feel useful in this world, because I think deep down that's what I really want, is to just be of use, offset a lot of the suffering in the world. And definitely hanging out with my friends made me feel that way, because there was a point where one of them said like, we're all here in this room because of you, you're that common thread that brought us all together. And that was a real touching moment. So yeah, that's my vlog for this one. Hopefully you've read the post, and I will catch you maybe in another one in a week or so. But I hope something resonated, because that's why I'm making this. But thank you either way. Much love.